This exclusive mini-series from the Change Officer podcast is brought to you in partnership with Microsoft Reactor. Stay tuned to find out how Microsoft Reactor can help you build your tech skills and connect you with developers and startups that share your goals.
Data analytics, data science, machine learning, all those, fields are very important, and they are literally shaping the future. They are shaping what we are today. Data analytics can be applied to literally every single sector or in every aspect you could literally think of. I mean, it's endless. Every single day, about 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are generated. Data is facts, numbers, observations that are used to record information. You take this data and you gain valuable insights from it. So any problem that you have or anything you want to predict or anything you want to foresee, you can literally use data to solve that problem.
Welcome to the Change Officer podcast's Future of Technology mini-series brought to you by Microsoft Reactor. In this 4-part special edition of the show, we are delving into the latest technology that is shaping the future at an increasingly rapid pace. Join us as we speak to 4 remarkable industry experts and unpack the topics of big data analytics, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and the metaverse, getting to the bottom of how these technological advancements will affect us, our businesses, and the world at large. The field of big data is booming. The big data analytics market will reach a whopping value of $103 billion by 2027, and more than 91% of organizations are investing in artificial intelligence and big data today. With these trends unlikely to slow down soon, this industry sector is demanding attention of anyone who wants to be a part of the change ahead. Today, we are joined in conversation by Microsoft's own Hadeel Shubair, a regional cloud advocate and a data analytics engineer working as a part of the Reactor team. Hadeel was drawn into a career in data analytics by her curiosity about technology, and you can feel that. In this episode, she unpacks the significance and relevance of big data, presents case studies on its practical uses, and explains what you should know about pursuing a career in this field. If you are thinking about entering the data analytics industry and want to learn more about it from a passionate industry expert, you definitely don't want to miss this conversation. Enjoy. Welcome to the Change Officer, Hadeel.
Thank you so much for having me, Book. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you for taking the time. I know it's a very busy part of the year, and we're very appreciative of the chance to talk to you. We know each other for a while now, and you're a part of Microsoft team, specifically Reactor's team, working as a cloud advocate. And, there are a couple of areas that we'd like to cover with this episode of Future of Technology series. Obviously, our topic is big data and analytics that you are living and breathing. First thing that I'm genuinely interested in is how did you ended up in this space in the first place? Because it's not on top of everyone's mind when they start their careers to pursue this sort of path.
So actually, that's a really good question. Getting into data analytics field was actually a very interesting story to me. When it came to me choosing the major I wanted for my bachelor's, after going through a few options, I decided to get into the engineering field. And specifically after I graduated, I did not know what I wanted to do with my life.
As nobody else.
Exactly. I mean, you become lost. You don't know what you wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to pursue a career in engineering. Did I want to continue my master's? So after discovering what I wanted and thinking about it and, doing all the research, I decided to pursue a career in technology, specifically in data analytics, simply because I have a curiosity and a love for technology and a curiosity and a love for computers specifically. Mm-hmm. So after, finding about that passion, I decided to research about it. And then when I found out that there's something called data analytics, and it's changing the world every day, and there's these new technologies and these new tools and new innovations that data analytics uses and depends on, I thought this was something so high interest highly interesting to me. And also what even pulled me into it more is how it's growing every day, and how you have these new concepts and new technologies that are applied to every single business or every single field or every aspect there is out there. So that's how I got into data analytics. And ever since I've gotten into this field, I have loved discovering it. It's a broad field. There's so much about it. And it's literally like a learning path. Like you learn something new about it every single day, because like the world is changing and technologies are evolving and all that. So that's my story.
Yeah, and I think that, obviously we are living in the age where, historically over the previous decade or two or three, we've been collecting a lot of data across multiple different, touch points with technology and without technology necessarily. And we are reaching the stage where we are sitting on so much valuable data that can be so valuable to not only businesses, to humanity, I guess. And we are reaching the stage where that data needs to be utilized. So can you introduce us now to the whole world of big data and analytics? How do you explain? So I suppose in the family you have, some siblings or nephews or cousins who are youngsters. How do you explain them what's big data analytics?
Oh, it's a good question. So the way I explain it is, you have this field. Let's say you're in the field of marketing, you're in the field of economics, you're in the field of engineering, whatever it is, there is out there. The way you see it is data analytics can be applied to literally every single sector or in every aspect you could literally think of. I mean, it's endless. So what you can do with data analytics, for example, is you can take data, extract raw information from it, analyze this data, and from that you can make informed critical decisions for your organization, for your business, for, let's say, product development, for marketing, for finance. There's so much you can do with data analytics and gain extract and gain insights as well that will help you make predictions, that will help you find relationships between attributes, and so much more you can do with it. So data analytics, like the way I would explain it is, it's the process of you have this information or this valuable data, you look at this data, you have a look at it, get your insights on it, analyze this data, and from that you make your own informed business decisions on it.
So I'm not sure if as your young cousin I would still follow, maybe I would end up being confused, but in simple terms, you can make decisions based on predictions, or you can make decisions based on informed facts.
It's mostly, it could be both. It could be a mix of both. However, usually data is, you can make predictions with data, and you can basically have, like, after analyzing the data, you can make informed decisions for your business or for your organization that you want. For example, let's say you have your own business and you wanted to increase the sales, for example. So you can focus on that factor only. You can look at the sales of historical data, how it's been over the past few years. You can try also with data analytics finding the root cause of why you are not gaining sales or increasing the sales. And from that, after analyzing the data, going through the process, I mean, it's a process. You collect the data, you gather the data, and then you start by cleaning the data. Then we start analyzing the data using specific tools, technologies that we use in data analytics. And after you analyze this data and perform all the operations needed to analyze the factor that you want, for example, increasing the sales, which is the problem that we have from the beginning, you start by making visualizations. And by visualizations, I mean literally pie charts, box plots, line graphs, so many dashboards as well, and create, reports that will help you basically explain your analysis to the business user or to the people who are interested in knowing how you got this result.
Why there is this word big before data? We're talking about data, but what does big data refer to? I've been running managing some small businesses with limited amount of data. And in that sense, applicability maybe of big data analysis is not that relevant because you can easily collect the data. But when the problem occurs is where you're operating or running large organizations who are collecting so much data that you can't even you won't really know where to start really. What are the biggest challenges that occur in these kind of use cases that require specific and special approach that you can actually leverage these kind of data pools?
Got it. So as you mentioned, every single day about 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are generated.
What is even a quintillion? How many
quintillion is like more than...
How many zeros is that?
It's like a million zeros. It's a lot. So as you can imagine now with the Internet of Things in all the aspects of life, basically it's data will... The amount of data will increase even more. So I mean, it's huge. The large amount of volumes of data that we have generated every single day is huge. The way we can handle it, I don't have an answer to that question, but I mean, you have to go through the data, and there's like a whole process that you have to go through to analyze the data and make sure, you can go through it. But I mean, right now, it's huge volume, massive amounts of data that we have generated every day. And these kind of data can be from sensors, from monitors, from audio files, video files, from literally anything you can think of.
Okay, everyone, we'll get back to the conversation in a minute, but I wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsor of this exclusive mini-series, Microsoft Reactor. If you tuned in for this episode, you're most likely coder, developer, or a data scientist. You probably also believe that upskilling yourself and staying connected with passionate, like-minded people in your industry is important. If that's true, you should definitely check out Microsoft Reactor's Creative Tech Minds community. When you become a part of Reactor's community, you get access to their free educational videos and self-paced learning paths, in-person presentations, workshops, and local meetup groups. These allow you to network with potential mentors, build your tech skills, and connect with fellow coders, cloud developers, AI enthusiasts, and data scientists. If this sounds like something you need, you can find the link to Microsoft Reactor's website in the show notes of this episode. I truly believe this can be super beneficial for your career path or your business, so I encourage you to do so. Now, enjoy the rest of this show. I'm interested in how important is the use of data analytics across several organizations.
Data analytics is literally the core element for every organization or every single business there is out there today. All organizations depend on data heavily to make critical decisions, to make predictions, to make predictions, forecasts as well, to analyze their data and to basically, as I said, make decisions that are important to that organizations. And it could be any organizations it could be any business out there. So it's very important. Data is becoming very important, and it's being integrated in all organizations day by day. That's what I realized.
What makes it so important? That's what I'm kind of trying to unpack for the audience who is listening, to understand the importance of data, just to get at the bottom of it.
Why data is so important? That's a very good question. Data, because you have this data. And data, what is data? Data is facts, numbers, observations that are used to record information. You take this data and you gain valuable insights from it. So I mean, any problem that you have or anything you want to predict or anything you want to foresee, you can literally use data to solve that problem. So that's why data is important, because it could literally be applied everywhere in every application using specific tools and technologies in order to solve whatever you are looking to solve.
By analyzing the past, we can predict the future, right?
Basically, that's exactly it.
All right, so I think it'd be a good idea to put some practical use cases to the theory that we just explained, so we make sure that everyone who's following actually gets, the whole concept, me including. So can you walk us through some practical examples of how this approach solved the problem, or how this approach unlocked some massive new opportunities?
Of course. Data analytics can be used in everywhere. For example, it can be used for the education system, for student assessment. Like, for example, teacher can assess their students, and based on their performance, they can predict, their performance, their behavior, and all that. Data analytics is very important in the healthcare system. It can improve people's life. For example, using data analytics for pharmaceutical devices and improving those, optimizing those. Also for drug development as well, very important as well. And also another example we could talk about also is data analytics in speech recognition. And what that means is obviously you have Siri, you have Siri, for example. So, when you tell Siri, okay, Siri, get me my coffee, or like open those blindfolds, or open the smart lights for me. And what that means is this is the process of where, Siri takes the input, analyzes it, and gives you the output. So this is how it usually goes. I mean, everything we have around us is usually now integrated with data in some sort of way. You can also use data analytics for predicting trends, forecasts, future, predicting anything for like the future, anything you want to know about the future. Just use historical data, and with that, it will help you.
When we spoke once, previously you mentioned the example of airline industry during COVID.
Yes.
Can you share that story again with me?
Of course, yes. So obviously, when COVID-19 came, the airline industry was hugely impacted and infected in a very unexpected way. The airlines, they were not prepared for what was happening. They had to literally take action to, for example, social distancing, to even the amount of people they had to take, or like the amount of passengers going from one flight to another, and so on. There were so many things that needed to be taken. So, for example, what airlines can do to take measures, for example, let's say on social distancing, you can take the data, for example, the number of passengers that you have, and you can check like their arrival times and in what areas they're going to be specifically at the airports. From that, the way we establish that is airports can conduct surveys and give it to those passengers so they can fill in the time, the arrival time, their flight number, and all that, and what areas they will be in. And also something that's important is also checking how fast these passengers are being processed as well, because that infects, and it's very important. So after going through this kind of process, airports will be able, you take this data and you analyze it. After that, airports will take better measures in the future for when something global, hopefully not a crisis, happens.
So if whether companies, airline or previously mentioned education or healthcare, looking to up their game in this whole space, what are the steps that they need to take in order to sort of get into that whole?
I mean, they have to always be up to date and on track with all the data analytics trends and the tools and technologies as well. They have to always look out to what's the next step, and they have to always look out to how do I integrate these systems, big data, data analytics, data science, AI, machine learning as well, and know how to apply these to their organizations in order to achieve better results, more effective performance, and so on.
Okay. So one thing that I'm curious also about is this is an evolving space. Okay, it's been around for a while now, but it's still, there's a long way to go, and companies will be relying on, and businesses and humanity on this in the future more and more. For anyone getting into this space early in their careers, what are the sort of the steps that they need to take to kind of get themselves in it, because you already been through that whole process, obviously successfully?
Yeah. So there are some steps to follow for anyone who's interested in pursuing such a career in data analytics or in the field of data science, data engineering, analytics, machine learning, or AI. They're all almost similar in some way, but different in various aspects. So what I would recommend, like the most common thing is to earn a degree in data analytics or data science if you can. Also, I would definitely recommend for them to take online certifications, which also will help them build hand-on practical projects using real-time data to know how data analytics works, the foundational data steps, to know how to use them as well, the applications, the fields, and so on. It's also very important, and I highly recommend everyone watching to do that, to attend community events and conferences, workshops, if you have, try to find, workshops or community events that are like in your area, or if you could not, online. There's like the platform, everything is online right now. So you will find so much about technology, about the fields that you're interested in. It will help you share ideas with like-minded people. Network is very important.
And Microsoft Reactor obviously holds some of them, right?
Yes, of course. So, there's so much you can do. And as well as, obviously, you have to have a mathematical mind, know statistical methods, have critical thinking mind as well, be curious, be creative. Working with data or AI or machine learning, it just needs someone who is always like ready to grow and to learn more, because as I said, it's like a learning process every single day. And the last advice I would have as well is to, it would be best for them to have like a foundational knowledge of like a programming language, 1 or 2. I would recommend Python because it's like the easiest language to learn. And data visualizations as well are very important. And for that, I would recommend they look into Tableau and Power BI.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I would just like to add, for anyone who is looking to, get into these concepts and modules, we have actually on our platform, Microsoft Learn, we have free online courses and modules covering literally anything you could think of in technology. So from web scraping to Power BI, Power Platforms, Microsoft Teams, 365, data analytics, Azure, Microsoft Azure, machine learning. There's so many free online courses for people who can learn, who can, build their foundational knowledge and go from intermediate to advanced as well. And
the resources are out there. The will
exactly
is what is necessary.
Exactly.
Right?
People just need to don't keep postponing. Just go for it.
Yeah. No, I think that we all know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
When it comes, not only when it comes to career, when it comes to life, it's just a matter of where you're going to do it or not. So it's about acting.
It is.
All right. So as the change officer's whole idea is answering 2 questions. Yeah. One is, what's the change ahead? Because if we can understand the change that is going to take place, there's a lot of things we can do now.
Yeah.
And number 2 is, how do you become that change?
Yes.
How do you become the change maker?
Yeah.
Now, I think we picked up a couple of points from you on how to become the change maker, but I would like to understand from your point of view, what is the change that you anticipate to happen in the future that will unlock some massive new opportunities?
That's a huge question. For me, I would say definitely like data analytics, data science, machine learning, all those, fields are very important, and they are literally shaping the future. They are shaping what we are today. You never know what the next thing is. Like now with the metaverse coming, Internet of Things is coming. There are, every single day, we have new things that are new platforms, new technologies, and new innovations that are upcoming. So you don't know what the next step will be. However, it's important to stay up to date as much as you can. Always educate yourself, always look out for what the next step would be. And I would definitely recommend, if you are interested into getting into this field, just go for it, because it is so worth it in a way. And I'm not saying that because I'm a cloud advocate myself for data analytics, but it definitely is something that's very interesting, and it's being integrated in all the organizations and in every aspect for business. You can do so much, you can learn so much. And data, for me, just to finish it off in a way, data for me, I see it as data is the gold of the 21st century.
Hadeel, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, Beck.
It was a pleasure absorbing the knowledge from you.
Thank you.
And I hope that you guys enjoy this session. If you want to get in touch with Hadeel, which I highly recommend, what is the best way to do that?
Of course, we have my email, v-shubair@microsoft.com. Also, we have my LinkedIn, which is also Hadeel Shubair. Feel free to connect. And also, I would definitely recommend to join our meetup group, where I will be giving in-person events soon as well. I've already started giving in-person events, but people can see more of me and my data analytics journey if interested. So on our meetup group, we have the Microsoft Reactor Middle East and Africa. So they can just search easily, register, and they will be up to date with all the events that I have coming up.
Amazing. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.